Sal Mineo had fallen in love with Natalie Wood at first sight. Her laughter, her perfume, the light in her hair, everything was perfect. But when Natalie told him in 1956, "You're a very special person, Sal, but I can't see you as a boyfriend," Sal's innocent world of love collapsed. Because for the first time, he realized that the person he was in love with could never accept his true identity. This rejection would change Sal's life forever and lead him to lose faith in love itself. If you want to listen to this story to the end, please subscribe and turn on the notification bell, because we'll continue sharing the unknown truths about the emotional traumas Sal Mineo experienced. During the filming of Rebel Without a Cause, Sal Mineo's breath was taken away when he first saw Natalie Wood. Natalie was only 17 at the time, but she mesmerized everyone with her extraordinary beauty and natural intelligence. Her brown hair cascaded over her shoulders, and her hazel eyes sparkled brilliantly under the set lights. Sal was a 16-year-old boy who had never felt anything like this in his life. That first day, Sal had arrived at the studio early and was sitting in the makeup room. When the door opened and Natalie walked in saying good morning, the tone of her voice echoed in Sal's ears like a melody. Natalie's perfume filled the room, a light floral scent, as if it came from a spring garden. From that moment, Sal fell in love with this scent and would continue searching for the same perfume for years. When they first met, Natalie smiled at Sal and asked, "Are you Plato?" Sal's heart began beating so fast that he couldn't answer. He just nodded. Natalie's voice was like a melody, and from that moment, Sal became captive to this melody. Every morning when he came to the set, he was impatient just to see Natalie. The way Natalie smiled enchanted Sal. That smile that started from the corners would slowly spread across her entire face. Her eyes would narrow, and small wrinkles would form. Sal had memorized these details. When Natalie laughed, it was as if the whole world became a more beautiful place. Making her laugh had become Sal's greatest goal. During filming, Sal constantly watched Natalie, how she laughed, how she used her hands when speaking, even how she breathed. Every time director Nicholas Ray shouted, "Cut!" after a scene, Sal would run to Natalie's side and try to talk with her. At first, they only talked about work, but gradually they moved to more personal topics. At that time, Sal wasn't yet at peace with his own sexual identity. He couldn't fully understand his feelings for James Dean, and his attraction to Natalie made him think he could be normal. Maybe he really liked girls? Maybe his feelings for Dean were just admiration? Natalie seemed like she could give him the answers to these questions. Sal analyzed every movement, every word of Natalie's, how she looked at him, when she smiled, which topics excited her. It was as if he was trying to decode her secrets. Every small gesture became a source of hope, every distant behavior a cause for concern. By September 1955, a special friendship had developed between Sal and Natalie. After filming ended, they would go eat hamburgers together, visit museums, and talk for hours. Natalie had noticed Sal's difference but didn't view it negatively. On the contrary, she was impressed by Sal's sensitivity and intelligence. During this period, Sal did everything he could to impress Natalie. He learned her favorite flowers and brought them to the set. When Natalie mentioned that she liked classical music, Sal spent hours wandering record stores and prepared a special Chopin collection for her. With each gift, the gratitude on Natalie's face melted Sal's heart. Sal found every moment spent with Natalie perfect. He felt comfortable and accepted in her presence. He could tell Natalie about his childhood, his family, his dreams, his mother Josephine's strict discipline, his father's expectations, the difficult days in the Bronx. Natalie listened patiently and responded with understanding. Natalie also talked about her own difficulties, the pressure of being a child star, her family's expectations, having to act like an adult at an early age. "Sometimes I want to be a normal teenage girl," she would say, "to have homework, friends, ordinary worries." When Sal heard these confessions, he felt a protective instinct toward Natalie. During one lunch, Natalie had told Sal about her childhood dreams. "When I was little, I wanted to be a veterinarian," she said with a smile. "I was going to save all the stray animals." That evening, Sal went home and remembered his own childhood dreams. He had wanted to be a singer, but now his only dream was to make Natalie happy. Sal's favorite moments were when he sat quietly with Natalie. Words weren't necessary, just being side by side was enough. While Natalie read books, Sal watched her, memorizing the way she turned pages, how she furrowed her brows, how she pursed her lips. One evening, while walking together on the Santa Monica beach, Sal tried to hold Natalie's hand. Natalie looked at his hand and smiled but gently pulled away. "You're so sweet, Sal," she had said. This reaction both made Sal happy and worried him. Did she only see him as a friend? During this period, Sal tried to learn everything about Natalie. Her favorite color, blue, her favorite food, which books she read. He made all of Natalie's hobbies his own hobbies. If Natalie listened to classical music, he started listening too. If Natalie was learning French, he tried to learn French as well. Sal had discovered how many types of smiles Natalie had. Polite smile, sincere smile, shy smile, mischievous smile. Each had a different meaning, and Sal tried to decode them. He loved her sincere smile the most, that moment when her eyes narrowed and her lips fully opened. In October 1955, Sal gathered courage and decided to reveal his feelings to Natalie. Filming had ended, and they would soon be separated. Sal didn't want to miss this opportunity. They met at a romantic spot near Griffith Observatory. The lights of Los Angeles sparkled below them and the atmosphere was perfect. "Natalie," said Sal, his voice trembling, "I want to tell you something." Natalie looked curiously. "You're very special to me. I love you very much." As these words came out of Sal's mouth, his heart felt like it was about to explode. He had taken the biggest risk of his life. The expression on Natalie's face changed. Her smile gave way to a worried look. "Sal," she began but didn't complete her sentence. There was a long silence. Sal waited for Natalie's answer in this silence, but what came wasn't what he hoped for. "You're a wonderful friend, Sal," Natalie finally said. "And I love you very much, but..." This "but" word stabbed Sal's heart like a dagger. The addition of "as a friend" finished the job. Sal realized at that moment that Natalie would never see him as a romantic partner. After that night, the relationship between Sal and Natalie changed. They could no longer talk as comfortably as before. When Sal was with Natalie, he constantly remembered the moment of rejection and suffered. Natalie had begun acting more distant to avoid hurting Sal, but at the same time she pitied him because she had already realized that Sal was different. During that period, Natalie had written this in her diary. "Sal really loves me, but I can't give him the love he wants. He's a man who needs a different kind of love. I hope one day he accepts himself." Natalie sensed that Sal was gay, but she didn't dare say it openly at that time. In November 1955, Sal decided to try one more time. Maybe he had been misunderstood the first time? "Natalie, I really love you," he said. "Not just as a friend, but as something more." This time, Natalie was more direct. "Sal, you're a very special person, but I can't see you as a boyfriend," said Natalie. These words destroyed Sal's last hope too. Natalie continued, "You're different, Sal, and that's not a bad thing, but I can't give you the kind of love you want." Just then, on the 30th of September 1955, news of James Dean's death arrived. For Sal, this was a double trauma. He had been rejected by Natalie and had lost Dean. That night, as he returned home, he was crying. His first great love had ended and Dean was no longer there. Sal felt completely alone. Dean's death also changed how Sal looked at Natalie. His complex feelings for Dean were beginning to make sense. Maybe Natalie was right. He really was different. But this difference was no longer frightening. It was becoming an understood reality. From December 1955 to March 1956, Sal fell into a deep depression. Both Natalie's rejection and Dean's death had affected him greatly. His family began to worry. His mother, Josephine, complained, "My son doesn't smile anymore." During this period, Sal's family began pressuring him to find a normal girlfriend. In early 1956, Warner Brothers Studio began marketing Sal and Natalie as a couple for image purposes. It was a perfect story for the media. Two young, talented, and beautiful actors. For Sal, this was both happiness and torture. He could be with Natalie, but it was a fake intimacy. When Natalie accepted this plan, she thought maybe it could be good for Sal, too. Perhaps this fake relationship would comfort his family and reduce social pressure. Natalie knew how much Sal was loved by his family and didn't want to disappoint them. Studio executives had presented this plan to Sal and Natalie, saying it would be very beneficial for their careers. Sal immediately accepted because he could spend more time with Natalie. Maybe this fake relationship would become real over time. He comforted himself with this hope. The first couple photo shoot was done at LAX airport. The photographer gave them instructions. Stand closer. Look at each other like you're in love. For Sal, following these instructions wasn't difficult at all. He was already looking at Natalie like he was in love. But the professional distance in Natalie's eyes made Sal's heart ache. During journalist interviews, while saying how happy we are, Sal's heart was breaking. When reporters asked, "When will you get married?" Sal's heart would race, but Natalie gave diplomatic answers. Cliché words like, "We're still very young. We're focusing on our careers." Natalie maintained this game out of professionalism. They would walk hand in hand at gala nights, take photos, but behind the scenes, real emotions were different. Sal hoped with every fake kiss, while Natalie saw these only as work. During this period, the hottest moments were premiere nights. Walking on the red carpet, Sal was genuinely happy because Natalie was on his arm. When photographers shouted, "Kiss!" Sal's heart beat wildly. Natalie would kiss him on the cheek, but Sal wanted to be kissed on the lips. One evening on the film set, Sal saw Natalie laughing with another actor. The jealousy inside him was unbearable. That night he went home and cried. Why could she be so comfortable with other men, but not with him? These questions kept Sal awake all night. During this fake relationship period, Sal tried to understand Natalie's real feelings. Sometimes, when he looked at her, he saw hope. Sometimes, he felt coldness. He analyzed every gesture and interpreted every word. Maybe Natalie was really starting to warm up to him? Magazine publications marketed them as Hollywood's most romantic couple. Fan letters came, "What a beautiful couple you are." When Sal read these letters, he was both happy and sad. If only it were real. The studio organized special events for them, romantic dinners, beach trips, theater nights, but all were accompanied by photographers and journalists. They could never really be alone. Sal sometimes thought, if only it could be just the two of us. The most painful aspect of this period was that Sal played the fake boyfriend role so well that even Natalie was sometimes surprised. "You're really good at acting, Sal," she would say with a smile. When Sal heard these words, his heart ached because he wasn't acting at all. In the fall of 1956, the fake relationship continued. But Sal couldn't stand it anymore. Every fake kiss, every fake embrace pushed him further into despair. At a gala night, while walking on Natalie's arm, photographers had shouted, "You look so happy." That night when Sal returned home, he cried because he really wanted to be happy. The intimacy brought by the fake relationship had created false hopes in Sal. Maybe Natalie's thoughts had changed during this process. Maybe she was starting to see him differently. With these thoughts, he invited Natalie to a romantic restaurant in Beverly Hills. He was thinking, let's make our fake relationship real. Throughout dinner, Sal tried to be as charming as possible. "Natalie, we're already acting like a couple. Why don't we become a real couple?" he said. "The media loves us. My family really likes you. We'd be perfect." Natalie sadly shook her head. "Sal, don't you still understand? This is just a game. I can never see you as a romantic partner." These words destroyed Sal's last hope too. "But why?" asked Sal desperately. "We're even happy in our fake relationship. Can it be real?" Natalie took a deep breath. "Because you love men, Sal. I know your feelings for Dean, and that's normal. But I can't give you the love you want." This open conversation both relieved and destroyed Sal. Finally, the truth had been spoken, but the fake relationship had become even more meaningless. After that night, Sal had to accept that his love for Natalie was impossible. Natalie would never love him the way he wanted. This reality was painful, but he no longer had the strength to fight. Moreover, the identity questioning had begun after Dean's death. Sal's family interpreted this situation differently. His mother, Josephine, said, "Natalie is a good girl, but maybe she's not suitable for Sal." His father, Salvatore Sr., comforted him, saying, "My son will find other beautiful girls." The family didn't know about their son's real struggle. In early 1957, their fake relationship also ended. The studio had made other plans and there was no longer a need for them to appear together. For Sal, this meant both relief and final farewell. When they met for the last time, Natalie told Sal, "I hope one day you find someone who will love you as you are, and I hope you live in peace with your family." These words were like a prophecy about Sal's future. Sal smiled and replied, "I hope so." But inside, he didn't believe in this possibility. Because in 1950 seconds, America, being gay was a reality that conflicted with family expectations. This heartbreak affected Sal deeply. He could no longer feel the same things toward women. The disappointment he experienced with Natalie forced him to face his own true identity. Maybe Natalie was right, he really was different, and it was time to accept this. This emotional journey of how it ended and how it changed Sal's view of love. If you want to learn more, Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and turn on the notification bell, because we'll continue sharing the emotional turning points in Sal Mineo's life. The years 1957 to 1958 became a healing period for Sal. Although the pain of his love for Natalie gradually subsided, the respect and love he felt for her never diminished. Their friendship continued, but romantic feelings were no longer involved. During this period, great changes occurred in Sal's life. While preparing for the film Exodus, while trying to understand the character's traumas, he also discovered his own inner world. One day while reading the script, he noticed the parallels between his own life and the character's life. Both had been rejected, both were searching for identity, both had experienced disappointment in love. Sal began to accept the truths about his own identity, his feelings for James Dean, his attraction to men. Natalie's rejection had ironically helped Sal accept his own nature. Maybe Natalie was right then. Sal really was different, and this was no longer scary, but something special. In the fall of 1958, in a therapy session, Sal spoke openly about his love for Natalie for the first time. "I loved her very much, but she could never love me the same way," he had said. When the therapist asked why, Sal thought for a long time. "Because I wasn't the kind of man she was looking for." This acceptance process wasn't easy. Sal sometimes missed Natalie and remembered the days he spent with her, but they were no longer painful. They were beginning to become sweet memories. The innocence, purity, and cleanliness of that first love. No love would ever be that innocent again. In 1959, Sal saw Natalie at a gala night. She was now with Warren Beatty, and they looked very happy. That night, as Sal went home, he didn't cry. He just thought, "I hope she's happy." This was the biggest sign of healing. Years later, in an interview, when asked, "What did your first love teach you most?" Sal gave this answer: "It taught me that love isn't always mutual, but it still shapes our lives. And sometimes being rejected can be more valuable than being accepted." These words showed the maturity that his love for Natalie had brought him. Sal and Natalie's friendship continued for years. Natalie was one of the first friends to accept Sal's homosexuality. "You've always been yourself, Sal," she had said one day. "I just wasn't mature enough to understand that back then." These words were very valuable to Sal because they showed approval from his first love. When news of Natalie Wood's tragic death came in 1981, Sal cried for days. He had lost not just an old love, but one of his most important friends. At her funeral, he murmured, "My first love, my best friend." That day, he realized that his love for Natalie had never ended. It had just transformed. The story of Sal Mineo and Natalie Wood shows that love isn't always mutual, but it still shapes our lives. Sometimes the biggest rejections lead to the biggest discoveries. Sal's love for Natalie taught him about himself, and this was perhaps the most valuable gift he could receive. Because thanks to that rejection, Sal Mineo found his true identity and had the courage to become one of the first actors to live openly as gay in Hollywood.